Hello there and welcome. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations and thanks for joining me on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, hit that button. Keep us coming at you. We're out here at least twice a week with different ideas and crafts for you. And today, Jamie Ray Vintage has some awesome stencils and I carry tons of them in the shop, so queenbeecreationshome.com if you want to check them out. But one of the new ones is a series of 6 little mini stencils that are all different house fronts. So meaning like this one's a grocery store, this one's a flower shop, there's a mercantile store, there's a school, there's a church, and what's this one? And a hardware store. And so I thought, especially going into, moving into the holiday season, a little vignette of wooden houses would be kind of cute. So what I've done is I took each of the patterns, which one's this one? This one's for the flowers. So I took each of these and I kind of mapped out on a 2x8. So 2 inches wide, 8 inches, a 2x8 board, each of the different stencils. Yeah, I get that you can't see it, but different stencils. I kind of drew some lines, cut it down, and so you can see that, some are the skinny narrow one, which I'm pretty clear on. That's the hardware store, grocery store. What I did do for the church and for the school is just gave them slightly slanted roofs. So to add a little bit of a change up to the squares, and also because it follows a little bit of the lineup of the stencils as well. So what I'm looking at doing with these is, before we get together again, I'm going to just lightly sand. I'm going to use my mouse sander and I'm just going to sand all of the cut edges just to be able to smooth it off, get some of those little fuzzy edges. And I got 2 sets of these cut off just so that I could do 2 different looks, right? So one, we'll see how it goes in terms of the looks, but I'm just going to get everything all sanded nicely and then come back at you and make some decisions about the painting. So hang in there while I go get dusty and I'll be right back. I have all of my blocks sanded and really I just needed to smooth out those cut edges, and I like to kind of round out the corners a little bit just so that they're not pointy and abrupt. First step in getting them painted before we get stenciling is to stain them. So I'm going to want to do a little bit of distressing, and this is kind of a pale wood to distress back to. So I'm going to start out by painting everything with Dark and Decrepit by DIY. This is a sealer and it's a stain and it's an aging liquid. It's kind of a little bit magic. So all that I'm going to do is just use the Dark and Decrepit all sides, because even though I'm just going to be stenciling one side, I want the back of these to also kind of at least look finished. So tops, bottoms, front, back, sides of all of these boards are going to get painted with Dark and Decrepit. We're going to let it dry and then we're going to come back. And there's nothing more complicated than that. This next step in the process, super easy. We are just going to paint. All of our blocks have had a chance to dry. The Dark and Decrepit is now on there. So we're just looking at putting our paint coats on here. I expect 2 coats, but it really depends. I do want to be distressing back, so I may find that 1 coat is heavy enough because I don't need it to be perfect coverage since I want to distress. So if I can get away with 1 coat, I will get away with 1 coat. I'm not looking to do more than I need to. But what I am looking at doing is doing this group of 6 houses with white. So I'm using beadboard from DIY. And this group of 6 houses, I'm going to use Apothecary from DIY. All available on queenbeecreationshome.com. So I'm just going to get my paint on all of these and let it dry before I take a look at doing some distressing. And this is already super, super smooth. So already on those rough edges, 1 coat is going to be enough for sure. But I'm just painting, and I'll come back at you when the painting's done. Image, and so it's better to go in with a little bit of paint and work slowly, even doing a second coat in some areas, than it is to try and put all your paint on at once. And there's some little tiny details in these houses, you know, tiny little wording here saying school. So again, you know, if I got a lot of seepage underneath on those letters, you wouldn't have that nice crisp image. You wouldn't have that nice wording showing up. So I'm talking a good game right now. Let's hope that when I lift the stencil off that I'm living up to it. But there's some awesome detail in these stencils. There's little arched windows, there's little window panes here. There's a bell up there with just a little edging. So these are going to be beautiful. I am just doing them in the 1 tone. So just kind of the tone on tone, because I haven't used them before and I want to look and see kind of what they look like. But you know, you could go in and do multiple tones. You know, I'm looking at the school and it's kind of going, oh, you could have done, you know, the black roof and the black bell, the black lettering for school, and the black outline of the door frame and the windows. But then you could have done the rest of the school in like a brick red if you wanted, or something like that. But for my first time seeing how they turn out, I'm going simple. And for the overall look of these anyway, I think it's gonna work. It's gonna be just right. starting to lose track which part was my paint line and which was my stencil. Okay. Oh, guys. This is super cute. Look at that. So I think that your wording might be backward. It is in the camera, but look how cute that is. So we could create this little village of this. Look at all of them looking just like this. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, putting it off to the side because I gotta do the green. I'm flipping over and doing the church next, I think. I just wanna kind of line it up with the peak. So I'm gonna carry on doing the stenciling exactly like I did with that one. And then I'll come back and show you each of the designs so that you can see each of the designs up close, so that if you decided to buy a pack of these stencils and do them for yourselves, I have some of them on the website, queenbeecreationshome.com, or you can check with Jamie Ray Vintage, so jrvhome.com, and see where a local distributor may be for you. I mean, they're easy enough to ship. They're super small, so it's no problem shipping wherever you may be. If my website is set up to ship to Canada, but if you needed it shipped elsewhere, just reach out to me and I'll get you a quote. It's not a big deal. But I'll show you each of these close up so you get an idea of each of the buildings in the pack and what they look like. So far, I'm digging them though. They look pretty awesome. So I'll come back. I'm just gonna go clean off, but I wanted to show you how wonderfully these little houses. So we saw the schoolhouse already. This is the church. So the schoolhouse and the church. This is the little mercantile. So all of them have words. All of them have labels on them. So here's the little mercantile. There's the grocery store. The flower shop. And the hardware store. So look at how cute this little village ends up being, just even as it is. So you could be done, you could just seal this, which is what I'm gonna do, and then call it a day. And then use little extras, you know, like some of the little Christmas village extras, you know, little benches, little trees, that sort of thing, to be able to do up a little vignette. So you could do a whole little Christmas village using the houses that you made, that you painted, or that the kids did, which would be awesome, having a little Christmas village that they had painted up with you. You could go a step further and you could paint these entirely, you know, do a rough stenciling and paint them out, and then do a crisper stenciling over top if you wanted to be able to add more color to them. You could certainly deck out the tops of your blocks, treat them like the roofs. You could just do a couple of them. These would be super cute, just having a couple of these up on a bookshelf, sitting on top of some books, or as part of a tiered display. So, you know, having just a couple. So you could do these up, sell the full set at a craft show or craft sale. You could sell them individually if you wanted, whatever works. I did a little extra school, which I think would be a cute little teacher's gift, right? So just know that you've got a lot of flexibility in what you do. And just to give you an idea, they look just as cute in the green. They show up really well. I used the same gray, that weathered wood from DIY, and whoops, no harm, they're wood. And cute little buildings. So I'm gonna let these dry. I'm gonna get them sealed up, and I'll take some pictures and show you them all staged up. But I gotta tell you, these are adorable. And one key thing about the Jamie Ray stencils, these are a high quality stencil, designed for you to use them over and over and over again. So they are thicker than normal stencils. And one that means then that they're gonna wear really well. But the additional piece is that you've got a lot of really fine detail in these. You know, like you've got these little window frames. If these were a lot thinner, all those little window panels would end up flipping up with your stencil brush. They would twist, they would bend. It makes it super hard to get a crisp image. But you can see, you know, on this one, look at the detail. There was no problem getting some of that crisp image with it because they're thick and they stay down. So that's a big advantage with something like this. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference in the quality of your output. So I'll send you some pics. Let me know, drop in the comments what you think. If you think they're as cute as I do, or that, you know, you could disagree, but they are really cute. And let me know what suggestions you have for them. Certainly let me know if you're gonna give it a try, but take a look for these stencils, y'all. These are super cute, especially going into the holiday season. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video. You never know what I've got in store for you, mostly because I never know what I've got in store for you. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Take care.